You're still watching Media Live, and some journalists who attended the president's second media encounter have described it as underwhelming. President Akufo-Addo's meeting with journalists sought to give stewardship for 12 months in office.
A president unfazed with tax of corruption, despite attempts by his critics to taint him, he says.
To the claims of extortion against the trade minister and to those against the Minister for Special Development Initiatives, they have all been investigated, and no evidence has been adduced to suggest mildly perpetration of any act of corruption.
Was it a conspiracy theory?
Is there any way we can have cashew roast?
Questions were thrown at him. Some he answered.
I don't think that incumbency should be an advantage.
Others he appeared not in charge.
The white paper.
What?
The 2014 World Cup. That is the Commission of Inquiry white paper, the report. Mr. President, please, are you interested?
To be honest, I've forgotten about the 2014 white paper.
A walk away from the very first encounter, organizers wanted to give as much opportunity to journalists from across the country the chance to quiz the president.
Hello, Mr. President. I must say you're looking really cool and fresh.
Oh.
Some were fortunate.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is...
That's King Edward. Yes, and that is the last question.
Thank you very much.
I insist.
My name is King Edward. I work for Hello FM.
Others attempted, but they were not given the opportunity.
My question is, this Fulani
President intends to interact with the media twice in every year. The media appeared unsatisfied with the timing, seeking for more from his appointees.
This thing about thrusting microphones in people's heads.
Unprepared to answer, his energy minister was not in the mood as he laments he was ambushed by the journalists. The media certainly is unsatisfied.
Today's encounter is one of the most underwhelming ones I have been. I mean, if you ask me what is the major takeaway, I'll struggle.
I wasn't too happy with his responses. I wasn't satisfied at all, especially about the white paper from the Jamepe Commission report concerning the 2014 World Cup. I thought that, I assumed he would have been very abreast with that, but he admitted that he didn't have all the information.
My problem really is about the kind of questions that were asked. I think that by and large, several people had major issues that they wanted to ask questions about, but the framing of questions ended up being rather too long or rather not being clear. There were a couple of times that the president himself actually had to ask for clarification.
I think that in planning this, if it is a Ministry of Information that is the key planner, they better invite interested parties, maybe the GG, the Editors Forum, and so on and so forth. Then so we have a clear-cut method. If we know that the president will speak for, say, 10 minutes as an intro, we do know, and so on and so forth. But if it is, as you may want to call it, a State of the Nation address in disguise or a budget statement in disguise before the questions follow, I can understand that it disarms certain people.
But the Deputy Minister of Information, Kojo Nkrumah, explains lessons have been drawn from the second encounter.
If we had a lot more time, we would have had a lot more questions. But within the time frame that we had, within the constraints, we had questions from journalists from all over the country dealing with issues that matter to various parts of the country. I think that this can only get better.
Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Accra.
And a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Professor Jampo, has expressed disgust over the media's performance at the presidential encounter. Most of the questions, he said, were not good enough to pin the president. He thinks it would be more productive if the president interacts directly with the citizenry.
Professor Ransford Jampo was disappointed in the media for the abysmal performance, especially in the line of questioning.
Because apart from a few journalists or media personnel who asked very good questions, the rest were not asking any meaningful question. The questions were so shallow and they were not seasoned with any research and they were questions that any president could easily answer. And over the years, that has been the trend, and so no president becomes scared of such a platform.
To him, there were more critical issues that needed answers from the president.
The 1992 Constitution is 25 years old. It has undergone a review. We spent huge sums of the taxpayers' money to undergo the review process, to subject that document to review. This administration came in and we don't know what is happening to the Constitution review process. Have we abandoned the process? Is the president doing something about the proposals for reform? What are we doing about it? You expect a journalist who thinks about Ghana to ask this question.
Professor Jampo feels the media failed in representing the people.
Somebody may be born from day one to the time the person will die. He will never have the privilege of meeting the president. And so if you have the privilege to meet the president, then you should be able to ask questions that borders on the lives of people. Again, some people went there with their questions already prepared. And I'm saying, yes, you should conduct research and prepare your question. But if somebody asks a question and the answer that is given is not so convincing, you are required as a smart journalist to shelve your own question, to ask a follow-up question in relation to what has been asked earlier by your colleague, so that you pin the president.
To him, it would serve a better purpose if the program is scrapped.
If you guys would go and indirectly sing his praises, I don't think you are doing a lot of good to Mother Ghana. It's about me, the press, and I'm saying that media people worth their salt must be able to research and ask thought-provoking and scrutinizing questions to subject the president to strict proof, because this is a very credible and serious accountability platform. You guys, you either sit up to seize the opportunity, or let us scrap this whole arrangement and revert to the one that the president would meet the people one-on-one. Because I'm sure if the president go to Makola, he would be able to receive thought-provoking questions regarding issues that border on the lives of the ordinary people.